Intune 2310, that is 2310, the October release, and that is what we are going to cover in this session. And the main thing we are going to look into is some of the features or some of the settings included FSLogix. FSLogix is mainly for AVD scenarios, Azure Virtual Desktop scenarios, and probably for Windows 365 or Cloud PC scenarios. And we will see administrative templates and settings catalog options related to FSLogix. That is what Microsoft introduced with 2310 version of Intune. And there are some exciting news, something like settings catalog policies, import and export options of settings catalog policies. There are some catches in that policy. We will see that what we can do now and probably what we can do later. So we'll see that also in a bit. And then we will talk about DDM. What is DDM? Apple's DDM versus MDM. What is declarative device management and what is mobile device management? Is there any difference between both? And is there anything which we can learn? And is there anything exciting coming into Intune perspective as well? So these are the key points we are going to cover. But before getting into each of these points, we are going to give you a bird view or a helicopter view of all the changes coming with Intune 2310. Most of the changes, I would. Basically, let's start with application management in this scenario. So what are the changes or what are the enhancements or what are the updated features available in application management? So there are some housekeeping related stuff going on with Android Company Portal app. If your Android Company Portal app version is very old, Microsoft is warning that there could be some issues during the enrollment and during the day-to-day process. So it needs to be updated. Okay, so that is one of the thing Microsoft highlighted with 2310 update of Intune. And the minimum SDK version warning is going to come up in iOS devices, etc. So that you need to take care. And minimum support for LOB and Store App for app devices, that has changed. I think we have a blog about that. What are the minimum versions? And there are something like N-3 and N-5 kind of support scenarios for the minimum supported versions of iOS. This is for LOB applications as well as for Store applications for all the Apple devices, not only for iOS but for all the Apple devices. So I will provide the link into the chat window so you can refer to these things in detail. And one more thing people are excited about is this one. Okay, pre-install and post-install script in unmanaged macOS PKG applications. This is very important and very helpful for many of the folks who are managing Mac devices and trying to deploy the PKG kind of application. And the other one is Microsoft highlighted this one as one of the feature enhancement. This is for Android ASOP kind of LOB applications, and you can now use required and uninstall group assignments in this particular type of application deployment. So these are the main 4 points which we want to highlight in terms of application management scenario. If you look at device configuration, you can see FSLogix that we already talked about, and enhanced security permissions using delegated scopes for Android device. That is also coming into this update. And Samsung ended support for Android device administrator devices. So this is a way of managing devices, Samsung devices, and Samsung is ending the support for this particular type of device management, especially for chaos. If you are having this kind of devices using a chaos mode, then you might need to think about moving away from that and using the modern method to manage those devices. Microsoft says that probably it might work, but there's no guarantee from their side that it will surely work. So if you get into some kind of issues during the management of these kind of devices, then you are not going to get full support from Microsoft. So that is why probably you need to plan for moving away from Android Android device administrator devices. And then this is the another exciting feature I talked about in the introduction. So export and import option available for settings catalog. This is very useful for many of the scenarios. So you can export the configurations in a JSON format, and you can import those kind of configurations from the JSON format into your Intune. That is very useful if you are a consultant and you want to have a custom policy implemented for all your customers or something. You can do this way. And this is also interesting. At the moment, for Android Enterprise BYO kind of a scenario with work profile, you cannot have different password policies for the personal one and for the work profile. Now, Intune is giving you an option to have a password policy for work profile separately. So that is very interesting and going to be useful. So this is a kind of a security enhancement probably, but Microsoft has not included this in device security. So probably this is still under device configuration category. And the other thing is new settings for macOS. So there are some of the new settings available for macOS devices. Settings catalog policies added. These are the two policies that Microsoft highlighted. System policy, app data, and then force on device only dictation. Those are the main things from device configuration on 23.10 updates. Now let's move into device management. There's nothing much in device management in this particular Intune 23.10 release. Only the thing is Microsoft is announcing a general availability for remote help for Android enterprise device. And this is only for the dedicated devices from Zebra and Samsung. Okay, so that is the catch over there. So let's move to the device security. And this is going to be interesting in terms of DDM and other configuration policies. Declarative passcode settings available for Apple devices. And what is the criteria for that? iOS or iPad OS, the version 17 and later. And for Mac, it is 14 and later. Those are the prerequisites for declarative passcode settings and declarative software updates settings for Apple devices. This is just for your information. One of the vendor or one of the partner who provides mobile threat defense solution along with Intune, the partner name is mVision, and it is now changed to Trellix Mobile Security. So if you are wondering what is this new Trellix Mobile Security, and if you are searching for mVision Mobile in Intune portal, probably you won't see that because Microsoft changed the name of that. Okay, so that was all about device security. Now let's look into Intune MAM or Intune app. So which are the applications, new applications got onboarded to Intune MAM kind of a scenario. Buddy Board is one of them, and Microsoft Loop. These are the two applications got enabled with Intune MAM. So we can deploy Intune app protection policies for these applications. So that is also very useful if your organization is using these types of applications. And then from a monitoring and troubleshooting perspective, there are two reports that got GA'd. So one is policy complaints report and the other one is settings complaints report. So these are the two reports got GA'd as part of Intune 23.10 updates. And the last one, tenant administration. So we have some blogs and videos about this Intune Admin Center homepage update. Homepage of Intune Admin Center portal got updated and it is redesigned to give dynamic updates for your organization. These are the few things which we want to highlight as part of 23.10 updates of Intune.